Good evening, PWCS families, and welcome to the Family Engagement Series session tonight. My name is Yanette Boyd, and I am the Supervisor for Family and Community Engagement. Tonight's session is PSAT and SAT Prep with Khan Academy. Today's session will be recorded and will be presented in the requested languages of English, Chinese, and Spanish. We will begin interpretation once this slide is reviewed in all the requested languages. So if you're on your computer, look for the interpretation button on your control bar. Once you click on it, pick your desired language, then your icon should change. If you're on your phone, click on the Join Audio and click Call over Internet. Click on the three dots and more. Click on the language interpretation and click on the language you want and done. At this time, the Chinese interpreter will review the slides.
各位家长们，下午好。我们这里有使用中文翻译。那么，如果您是用这个电脑，请在电脑的这个控制条最底下那边的控制条呢，去点击这个地球的这个标志，点击这个地球的标志呢，然后会见到有不同的语言可以选项。那么，请选中文，然后这个地球的标志呢将会显示中文。如果您是用手机去参加我们这个讲座，那请点击这个 Join Audio， 然后再点击这个 Call over Internet， 就是在手机上最底下那边，然后点击之后呢，就会再选这个右手边最底下右手边的三个球形，点击这个三个球形呢，就会能够显示有不同语言的选项，就选好中文，谢谢。
Thank you. At this time, the Spanish interpreter will review the slide.
Buenas noches, el día de hoy contaremos con interpretación al español. Si están conectados en una computadora, tienen que buscar el icono de Interpretation o interpretación en la barra inferior y posteriormente hacer clic y posteriormente elegir el idioma de su preferencia en donde quieran escuchar, ya sea español o inglés, y silenciar audio original o mantener el audio original. Si están conectados en un teléfono, hagan clic en Join Audio o en Call over Internet. Posteriormente tienen que hacer clic en los tres puntos que se encuentran en la barra de tareas de su celular. Después en Language Interpretation y tienen que elegir el idioma, ya sea español o inglés, y pueden mantener el audio original también. Gracias. Over to you.
Thank you. Interpretation will begin. You may now click on the interpretation globe. So at this time, I would like to welcome a couple of our presenters for this evening. Joining me today, we have Dr. Laura Evans and Ms. Amy Hart. They are coordinators of advanced academics and specialty programs with PWCS. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us tonight. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us today. Today, our webinar is on understanding the PSAT 8-9 and the PSAT NMS-QT and PSAT and SAT Prep with Khan Academy. We're excited to talk with you about the PSAT 8-9 and PSAT NMS-QT exams today, and to share with you some information about these tests that will benefit your children. During tonight's presentation, we're going to be covering an introduction, what the PSAT assessments are, and why take PSAT-related assessments, and how should my student prepare to take the PSAT 8-9 and NMS-QT. For tonight, our objectives and outcomes, participants will understand the differences between the PSAT 8-9 and PSAT NMS-QT. They will understand the benefits of these assessments for students, know when these assessments are administered in Prince William County schools, and know where to find additional resources for students and parents. The digital format makes the tests easier for students to take. They'll take it on the device they're already familiar with and will have the opportunity to practice and prepare using the Blue Book testing app. Every test in the SAT suite of assessments is now administered in a digital format. Students will have more time per question, shorter reading passages, and access to a built-in Desmos graphing and scientific calculator that can be used in the entire math section. To become familiar with the digital format, your teen can access full-length practice tests in Blue Book, College Board's digital testing app. Blue Book is the same app that students will use for the SAT, PSAT, and AP exams. All assessments within the SAT suite of assessments, including the PSAT 8-9 and the PSAT NMSQT and the SAT exam, are 2 hours and 14 minutes long. To begin, the PSAT 8-9 is the first test in the SAT suite. We deliver this assessment to all our 9th grade students to measure the knowledge and skills they're learning in school. Taking the PSAT 8-9 provides an early check-in on how your child is doing and helps to set a baseline for their continued success. Structured similarly to the SAT, the PSAT 8-9 focuses on the reading, writing, and math skills your teen is learning in school and that matter most for college and career readiness. Know where they are and where they can go. As your teen begins their high school journey, results from the PSAT 8-9 help to set a baseline so they'll know what skills they can improve. It allows your student the opportunity to explore career options. Your teen score includes a career report on Career Insight Snapshot, a list of growing careers in their state that connect their skills measured by the SAT suite. The list has examples, not recommendations, that can broaden their awareness of different career options. For careers that reflect their interest, they can discover almost 1,000 different options on bigfuture.org. Find out their likelihood to succeed in AP. Based on the scores, students can get personalized recommendations about what AP courses might be a good fit for them. The PSAT NMSQT. The preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test is part of the SAT suite of assessments and is typically administered and taken by students in grades 10 and 11. Structured similarly to the SAT, the PSAT NMSQT measures the same knowledge and skills your child needs to succeed in college and career. When they take the PSAT NMSQT and get their scores, your teen can discover more opportunities than ever before toward their post-high school goals. The PSAT NMSQT is more than good practice for the SAT, and the scores are more than just a number. Whether they're thinking about attending a 2- or 4-year college, a job training program, or they aren't sure what they want to do after high school, the PSAT NMSQT is an important tool for your teen to help them navigate their academic journey. Your teen will see where they are and set a target. Your teen will receive insights about their knowledge and skills while they have plenty of time to improve. If they've taken other assessments within the SAT suite before, they can compare their progress and then set a target for an SAT score based on their college and career goals. They can explore different options. Your teen score report includes the Career Insight Snapshot, which is a list of growing careers that their state can connect to based off of the skills measured by the SAT suite. The list of examples, not recommendations, that can broaden their awareness of career options. For careers that reflect their interest, they can discover almost 1,000 different options on bigfuture.org. Based on their scores, students will also get personalized recommendations about what AP courses might be a good fit for them. Taking the PSAT NMSQT gives students a chance to access over $300 million in scholarship opportunities. Students who take the PSAT NMSQT, usually in grade 11, may meet requirements to enter the National Merit Scholarship Program, an academic competition for recognition and scholarships administered by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. The test structure for the PSAT 8-9 and the PSAT NMSQT is very similar in format to the SAT. The sections are broken down into evidence-based reading and writing and math. The approximate length is 64 minutes for the evidence-based reading and writing and 70 minutes for the math section. You can see the total number of questions in each section for a total time length of 134 minutes. Our PSAT school day assessments will be held on October 16th, 2025. PSAT 8-9 will be administered to all students in grade 9, and the PSAT NMSQT for all students in grade 10 and 11. Free practice resources are available for the PSAT 8-9 and PSAT NMSQT assessments are available on College Board.
At PWCS, we believe in recognizing excellence, opportunity, and potential. Each year, our juniors have the chance to participate in the prestigious National Merit Scholarship Program, a gateway to scholarships and academic recognition nationwide. The College Board National Recognition Program celebrates students who stand out for their achievements and backgrounds. These honors don't just celebrate individuals, they elevate entire schools. When our students succeed, Prince William County succeeds. So if you're in 11th grade, ask your counselor how you can be a part of these incredible opportunities. I'd like to take a moment to talk about testing accommodations for College Board assessments, an important topic for many of our students and families. To be eligible for accommodations, a student must have either an IEP or a 504 plan. These accommodations must be formally documented in the student's plan and approved by College Board. Once approved, these accommodations apply to all College Board assessments, including the PSAT 8-9, the PSAT NMSQT, the SAT, and AP exams. It's important to note that once your student is approved, they remain eligible for accommodations for up to 1 year after high school graduation. This can be a huge help for students continuing their education beyond high school. Also, students are expected to use their approved accommodations during testing. If the student chooses not to use them, a written refusal must be submitted before the test date. If you have any questions about your student's eligibility or the approval process, please reach out to your school's testing coordinator or your student's case manager. We're here to support every learner and ensure they have the tools they need to succeed. English language learners. There we go. English learner students must have an identified need. This could be related to a disability, a medical condition, or a language proficiency. Depending on the type of support being requested, it is also important to understand the accommodations that must be used regularly in the classroom in order to be approved on College Board assessments. In other words, if a student is not using an accommodation during instruction or classroom testing, it's likely it won't be approved for standardized testing. Once approved, accommodations apply to all assessments in the SAT suite. That includes the PSAT 8-9, the PSAT NMSQT, and the SAT. Accommodations must be reviewed and approved each school year. This ensures that the support provided is still appropriate and aligned with the student's current needs. Here are some important information about SAT fee waivers, a valuable resource for students planning to take the SAT. To be eligible, students must be in 11th or 12th grade, have an identified need, and meet financial eligibility requirements. Once a student receives a free waiver, it remains valid until after high school graduation. That means students can continue to use this benefit even after they've completed high school. When registering for the SAT, students should enter their fee waiver code to access these benefits. Here's what the fee waiver includes: 2 free SAT registrations, unlimited score reports sent to colleges, waived college application fees at participating schools, free CSS profile applications to apply for financial aid, and no late registration fees. These benefits can be significantly reduce the cost of applying to college and make the process more accessible. If you think you may be eligible, please check with your school counselor or request a fee waiver directly from College Board. Accessing score reports. When will my students see their scores? It'll take about 4 to 6 weeks after that test administration. Who can see my students' scores? The high school and the district, and colleges do not receive student PSAT 8-9 or the PSAT NMSQT score from College Board. There are 2 options for accessing your scores. You may ask your school or your counselor for the PSAT NMSQT score report, or you can access the Big Future School mobile app if you provided your mobile number on test day. As always, students aged 13 and older may use a personal College Board student account to view additional insights online. Students will need to create an account through College Board. In this account, we are encouraging parent permission when doing so. Notice there's a section on the score that is detailed by content area. Then you can see the possible scores on the PSAT 8-9, that is the test for 9th graders, and the PSAT NMSQT, test for 10th and 11th graders. The qualifying score is only for 11th grade. The next part combines the scores. Let's take a moment to understand how these scores are reported for the PSAT 8-9 and the PSAT NMSQT exams. Each test provides 2 section scores, one for reading and writing, often labeled EW, and one for math, labeled as M. For the PSAT 8-9, each section score ranges from 120 to 720. For the PSAT NMSQT, the range is slightly higher, 160 to 760 per section. These 2 section scores are then added together to create that total score. For the PSAT 8-9, the total score will fall between 240 and 1,440. And for the PSAT NMSQT, the total scores range from 320 to 1520. Understanding these ranges helps students and families interpret score reports and track progress over time. If you have questions about what these scores mean or how they're used, please reach out to your school counselor. If you have any questions, you may always contact your school's counselor, but you can also contact Laura or myself at aasp@pwcs.edu. Now, for the next part of our presentation, we are going to welcome Crystal Hercules. She is a representative from Khan Academy and will be joining us with her information about how you can help your students prep for these exams.
All right, good evening, everyone. Yes, Crystal Hercules here, and I'm a professional learning specialist with Khan Academy. I'm super excited to join you all this evening. And so we're going to dive into how you can support your students using the platform. Now, before we dive in completely, I'd love to share here a cornerstone of the work that we do here at Khan Academy, which is mastery learning. And so I'm actually going to show a quick video.
Have you ever?
And this will really help us understand exactly what this can look like in terms of preparation using the platform. All right, so let's get this started. Oh dear. All right. Okay.
Have you ever really tried to learn something and you just couldn't? It can make you feel like you're not so smart, right? Well, it's not your fault, and it's not your teacher's fault. It's just our traditional approach to learning. We go through school and we accumulate gaps. You're a bit shaky on pre-algebra, but you move on to algebra anyway. By the time you get to calculus, you've got lots of gaps. If enough gaps build up, you eventually hit a wall. Calculus makes no sense, and that can be frustrating. But what if there were a different way to learn? That's mastery learning. Unlike traditional learning, where all students move in lockstep, with mastery learning, you go at your own pace. You progress through questions at just the right level for you. If you get 50% right the first time, it's not a big deal. Try as many times as you need. Get feedback as you learn, and help when you need it. Teachers can track your progress, identify any gaps, and give you one-on-one attention. Decades of research shows mastery learning works. Now you have the tools to make it possible. Are you ready to learn anything?
All right. So with that video, it kind of shares exactly what's here on this slide, that mastery learning enables students to focus on the concept until they've demonstrated proficiency. And so you'll see here a quick key. So as students are working on the platform in Khan Academy, they get to work on individual skills. Now, our recommendation is that students are working on at least 2 skills per week and earning that proficient score. And so on that right-hand side, you'll see what that possibly looks like. Now, when a student starts on a skill, if they earn 70% of the points or lower, they would have attempted that skill. Familiar means that they've earned 70 to 99%, and then proficient is 100% of the points. Now, for a student to have mastered a particular skill, they need to see that individually. So I'm looking at this particular skill. Maybe it's ratios, maybe it's a specific reading skill. But then if I see it again on a quiz or a test and I earn 100% of those points, then I have mastered that skill. So something I'd like for you all to think about as you're thinking about supporting your students at home is, if they're on Khan Academy, ensuring that they are working towards 2 skills, at the very least 2 skills per week on their Khan Academy platform. And so how does this connect with the SAT? I want to share this, and it's just a big brag. I love it so much. We've actually partnered with College Board. We are the official prep for College Board, the folks who have actually created the SAT. And so when we've created that preparation, we share the information that we have on the platform. They've given us feedback, and ever since then, we've been able to improve it based on the differences and changes that they make on the SAT every single year. And so let's take a step back. We've already talked about what the SAT is, but I definitely want to just make sure that I'm underscoring a couple points. Many of us may have sat for the SAT. I know that in my experience, I talked about this if you were here last year. I talked about this last year. I say it all the time. I remember going into a cafeteria and all the desks were facing forward, and I was in there for it felt like 8 hours, okay? And they said it wasn't, they said it was 4, but it felt like 8. And now that experience is a lot different for our students. We want to make sure that we're getting to the crux of it. And so students are sitting for a little over 2 hours for this assessment now. And so they'll take the first module, which is very similar for all students. And based on how they score on the first module, that is how the second module comes out. So depending on your score is what your second module will look like. So again, each student will take at least 2 modules, and then those put together will create their actual score. And so here, and this is straight from College Board, friends, I didn't make this up. This is the blueprint, all right? So we've connected with them and we asked, well, what does scoring look like? Now they said, listen, we're not going to give you all of the tips. We're not going to give you every piece of the recipe, but we are going to share what the actual test looks like in terms of a blueprint. And so first you're looking at reading and writing. The assessment is split with these content domains: information ideas, craft and structure, expression of ideas, and standard English conventions. Now on the right-hand side, this is where you'll see those same content domains, but you also can see the percentage of the question distribution. So 28% of the actual assessment is craft and structure. And it also explains what that means here on that domain description. You'll see here that 20%, so while that's still a high number, but that's expression of ideas. And so that's how you get to use this actual table here to support your students at home as you're thinking, okay, where can I spend most of my time in terms of that preparation? Obviously, it's that craft and structure, but that doesn't mean that we're going to leave information ideas, standard English conventions, and expression of ideas out, because those are also super important. So that's reading and writing. This is math, okay? So math is just a little different. So it's broken up by algebra, advanced math, problem solving and data analysis, and then geometry and trigonometry. And now what's interesting about math is that 70% of the assessment is actually algebra and advanced math. Okay, and so that's definitely, I found this to be super helpful as I was supporting my nephews in preparing for the SAT, just to know exactly where to spend most of our time. All right, and so continuing on to discuss that discussion, the connection between the SAT and Khan Academy. So what have we done? We've taken all that we found from College Board and we've created a course within the platform. And within it, we've taken all of those domains and we created 3 difficulty levels. And so a student can practice their craft and structure. They can practice their algebra using the foundations, medium, and advanced courses on Khan Academy. So we've also added in some course challenges, quizzes and unit tests, and then there's also progress reports. So as a parent, you can track students' learning, but also the teachers can track that learning as well. We know that partnership is imperative, and so we wanted to make sure that this was transparent for students knowing how they're doing, their teachers knowing, and then you all as well. And so you'll see on this slide here, this is just our course on the actual Khan Academy platform. You'll see, all right, we talked about algebra, we talked about the different domains. This shows you that each of the units, they align with those content domains. It's directly from the SAT. And then below it, you'll see these different lines here. These are talking about the actual individual skills. Those align with the skills that are going to be assessed on the actual test. Now, we received quite a bit of feedback from your district, from districts all over the nation, and we heard you all and we wanted to make sure we were meeting the needs. Originally, we had an SAT prep course. It's lovely, right? We connected with College Board, all the things. However, we know that your students are taking the PSAT. We also know that there's some students who need additional supports, right? And so we've created 2 new courses, the Get Ready for SAT Prep for math, as well as reading and writing. So if your student is in the 8th or 9th grade, or if they want to slow down the practice and what that can possibly look like, they don't have to jump right into the SAT prep course. They can start with this Get Ready for SAT prep course here. Okay. And it's in the same exact place where students can find the SAT prep course. It's in the same bucket. And so again, teachers may assign this to their students, but as a parent at home, you also can direct your students to this if you believe that they need additional supports or if they are in that 8th and 9th grade. So let's talk about that. So I really want to underscore a point that was made earlier. Your students have access to the College Board site. They have access to the Blue Book site, and we definitely suggest trying that. So yes, I work for Khan Academy, right? I don't work for Blue Book. I don't work for College Board, but I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm also emphasizing that it is imperative that students are practicing on that website. And so on here, you'll notice that this is taking from the College Board research site. We found from May 2025, so this year, we were able to connect with folks and talk through when students took a practice test. This shows you on the right-hand side the approximate points higher that they scored in comparison to students who did not take the practice test. Okay, so this, I want to make sure that I'm underscoring this point that was made earlier. I believe that Laura was sharing this. Definitely make sure that students are taking the practice tests. All right, and so this continues on to share. Yes, definitely have students practice on the Blue Book testing app, but then also having them use Khan Academy because again, it is a direct reflection of what they'll see on the actual SAT. All right, and so I want to just show you really quickly on this slide. This is a screenshot for when your students go into that Blue Book app, what they will see. Now, when they log in, it's so nice. Okay, welcome, Stacy. I'm not Stacy. That's my boss. She took the test. She gave me this screenshot. But it shows that it's really easy to find. It's pretty intuitive for students to see how they can preview the test And then they can also take these full-length practice tests. And then when they do that, they actually have a bank of their test scores. So students can track their own progress on the Blue Book app, which is super helpful because, as you'll see that's highlighted on this actual slide, students can dive into their score details. They can find out what they answered incorrectly or what they answered correctly to know their strengths and the things that they need to work on. And it also links, I told you all, we were partnered with College Board. It links directly to the Khan Academy platform, right? And so when a student actually takes the practice test, they get a report. And this is what it looks like, okay? And so you'll see here, it takes those domains. We're looking at reading and writing. You see information ideas, craft and structure, all of the things that we talked about in the blueprint. And it shows students, okay, based on this practice, here's what you've earned. And now I'm looking at this, and as someone who is supporting a student, I might jump right to this standard English conventions because the student earned quite a bit of the points in each of the sections. So this may be a place where we will focus. And so I see here, all right, they've earned 1 out of the 7 on standard English conventions. So when they go into Khan Academy, I might direct them to go there first. And so let's continue this discussion. All right, listen, we are so excited that you all are here today because this partnership is imperative. Now, we know teachers are super important, our administrators super important, friends and classmates, but we know here, based on feedback and based on many different reports, we know that 66% of students see their parents and guardians as their top sources of support with school. So definitely we know that this partnership is super important. And so we want to make sure that you all know that we appreciate you all. We know the work that you do at home. So another brag. We have quite a bit of courses on Khan Academy. And so folks have shared, all right, we love Khan Academy. It's great, but there's a lot going on. I'd love a step-by-step instruction on how to use this. And so we have gone through, and my colleagues have actually recorded 3 to 5 minute videos on how parents can use Khan Academy, okay? And so you're seeing here, this is an actual course that you can find on our platform. It takes you through logging in, tracking your students' progress, actually making assignments for your students. It's very in-depth. You don't have to watch all the videos, but if you're ever wondering, oh, you know what? I'd love to get a little bit more knowledge on this thing. We have a video for it. Okay. And so over the next couple slides, I am going to share how you can connect your account to your student's account. So when you log into Khan Academy, you get to see your student's actual progress. All right. And so I'll also drop this in the chat. This is our support page. Where's my chat? All right. Okay. Okay. And so this support page, it just gives you really nice instructions, just like those videos. But if you just want to read, this is the quick start guide, the options for your early learners, the different ways in which if you need any troubleshooting issues, things of that nature, we have articles there. All right, so let's get back to this. So if you have not signed up for Khan Academy just yet, I invite you to do so by going to khanacademy.org. The next couple slides will show you exactly what to do. All right, and so if you already have a actual account, you can just go in and log in. But if you do not, definitely click create an account, and you can use your Google, you can use your Facebook or your Apple ID to do that. And then you'll see here, it'll prompt you and you can select I am a parent. Okay. And so when it comes to adding your children, there's a couple ways to do that. So once you have logged into your parent account, all right, you see here that this has a parent dashboard. This is your account. You can click on your name in the top right. And I know that we'll share these slides, but I just want to explain what you're looking at. You can click on the parent dashboard, and then there's a button that will say add a child, right? And then it'll ask you, does your child already have an account? And you'll select yes. And then you can enter your child's district email, and it'll send an invite to your student. All right. And so when your student receives that invite, they'll say, okay, you were invited to connect with this parent, and then your child will be able to click accept as a parent. Okay. Now there's another option where if you are logged in, you can actually do this directly from your student's account. So if your student's logged in, they can go into their own settings and put your email in. So either way, that's how you can connect your account to your student's account. We'll share these instructions. And I also want to share that whether you're a parent or a student, you have access to Khan Academy on your smartphone, on your computers, or your tablets. And we are available in over 50 languages. Accessibility is imperative to us. And so I want to make sure that you all know if a student needs to go in or yourself needs to go into the settings, you can change the primary language and that would translate for the whole website so you can see what's happening there. And I also want to share here. So we have quite a few tutorials that we will share with you all, but you'll see that if you want to make assignments for your children, you can do so. We have a link to the step-by-step for that, but their teachers will be supporting that at school. And this is also on their own pace. So students can actually move through the assignments at their own pace without actually being assigned the specific assignments. Okay. And then this is just a screenshot of what you'll see. So when you are logged in, this is what the progress will look like. You get to see your child, how many minutes they were on Khan Academy, the skills they've worked on over whether depending on the time limit that you set, the skills that they've increased or leveled up, and then their skills to proficient, meaning the skills that they've earned 100% or more on. Okay. And so there's just another screenshot of that. More screenshots here. We love details, right? So it explains this a little bit further. Okay. And so as you all know, well, maybe you do not, but Khan Academy is free to everyone across the nation, across the world. And so if you yourself, you want to take courses on Khan Academy, you can do so. So if you want to take a course alongside your student, you can do that. So they are free to you as a resource. It offers videos and articles as supports, not just for your students, but also for you as you are thinking of how you can support your child. And we have additional resources here, specifically for SAT. We have data trackers. We have a study plan. These were actually shared with teachers, and so we'll also share these with you. Okay, and so that is it for me. Thank you all so much. I'm going to turn it back over to the facilitators. Let me stop my share. Okay, thank you.
All right. So we did have just a couple of questions. I know someone asked, is there a fee for this? But you answered that. So thank you so much for that. And I guess this one would be for you, Dr. Evans and Amy. Do the students have to have an account with their PWCS email address to access the free SAT prep courses?
Yes, so we actually pay for student, it's free for families and students, but we work with Khan and it is available to all students in our PWCS portal. We utilize in the district the paid version of Khan Academy, so students can access Khan Academy by logging into the PWCS portal and then clicking and finding the Khan Academy icon, and then that will take them to their Khan Academy account through the district. Go ahead. I was just going to say, and we have all of our students in grades 9 through 12 have access to Khan Academy through the PWCS portal.
Okay, and that was one of the questions that I think came in. What grade do you have to be to join Khan Academy? Can they join before those grades?
No, it's only available to students in grades 9 through 12.
Right. And so we did have a question about this information tonight. So all this information, including the PowerPoint presentations and the video recording, will be shared with everyone. So I will send a follow-up email to all those of you who registered. So you'll have this to use as a resource. I have placed in the chat our survey for tonight. So if you would just take a few minutes just to fill that out. To let us know, how the session was today, and then also how any sessions that you may want to see in the near future. As I was talking, a couple more came in. So what PWCS portal do they need to use? Is it Clever?
No, so actually the district switched over from Clever to ClassLink this past summer. So I just put the link to the PWCS portal in the chat for everyone. And so if your student logs into their PWCS portal, then that will allow them to connect to the platform in Khan Academy.
Okay, and then for students with 504 plans, what are the steps for letting the testers know they require additional time when testing?
So you will want to reach out to the testing or your student's case manager. There is a consent form that a family, a parent, guardian needs to fill out. And then the school can work with you to request the accommodations from College Board. Families can also work directly with College Board to request the accommodations. But please reach out to your testing coordinator at your school or your student's case manager so that they can get that process started.
And we've had a couple of just questions saying if we can put some of those responses in the chat. So I'll ask Ms. Evans, I'll make sure to include some of these responses when I send the follow-up email, so you have some of this information. But definitely the people to reach out to would be, as she said, your student's case manager. If they receive special education services, you can definitely reach out to their school counselor for information. And then also, they can also connect you with the testing coordinator, which they typically, make sure that when they're testing the students, the proctors have the information that they need for accommodations. So thank you everyone so much for joining us this evening. As I said, I am going to send a follow-up email with today's presentation, the recording, and I will make sure you have contact information should you have any additional questions. So thank you guys so much and have a wonderful evening.